but you've still got the option for Void Spirit on both sides, Storm Spirit, Ember Spirit. I want to say Earth Spirit, Mike, but not popular as a mid here in these two regions.
What do you mean, John? It's the best hero in the game.
You know what bugs me, Mike? You're a guy called Mike LaPhoenix, and here you are simping over Earth Spirit over Phoenix picks. When Phoenix comes out, you're not that hype. It's in your name. Well, what's up with that, Mike?
I never liked the look of Phoenix in Dota. I'll be honest, John. I feel like the look of Phoenix, it needs a change up. It looks a bit too futuristic, in my opinion. I want it to look more majestic, personally. I mean, there is that nice cosmetic you can get. I can't remember where it's from. I don't know if it was from the Battle Pass treasures or the one with the blue tail and shit like or stuff like that. Excuse me for the French. But I don't like the look of Phoenix as it is, like the base model. It's too futuristic for me.
I guess it looks futuristic. Maybe spacey is the word you're looking for. Like it looks like a, like a supernova, right? Like exactly that from far away, like gamma rays flying out. It doesn't look very, very like classically Phoenix, I suppose. Still, you do still have those Spirit Brothers on hand. NP was banned out here by TOOBASED. The Invoker banned out by Unknown Team. So again, you're open to go for these highly mobile mids here. You've got the options. They do ban out the Leshrac last from TOOBASED. They do have last pick overall. So Unknown Team is going to have to pick that mid matchup blind, and that could cause them issues. You already have the Mirana that can rotate really well down mid. They're going to have to watch the combinations that might come out.
Whoa. Enigma last pick for Unknown Team. So maybe a mid Pango we're looking at, and the offlane Enigma, I think, is what Unknown Team is going for here. Simply TOOBASED, is that going to put a spanner in the works? Probably not. I mean, you have a Beastmaster there anyway. So you're going to need a BKB and a Lincoln Sphere. If you really want to go for black holes, I think the Enigma is going to be more about just applying tower pressure and denying creeps in the laning phase, as we do always see. I'm sure Unknown Team understand that it is not going to be one of those games where the Enigma can go for those big black holes. Unless you've caught out the Beastmaster, in which case maybe. But even then, you're still going to need a BKB, assuming the Beastmaster is within the hole.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for Unknown Team to maximize that. And their lanes are just kind of weird, like Enigma off lane, Pango mid. Pango mid is alright, but we haven't seen it much for good reason. There's a lot of ways for mid matchups to bully that. Really good response from TOOBASED. The Razor does come through, so you can just sap away at the troll now if you wanted to. You can still run Beastmaster mid, although they will just give it to Monkeys, as it's a very stable offlane to have. So they've got the response here from TOOBASED. They already have ways to cancel the black hole. They've got ways to sap away from the troll, and when you have him static linked up and he gets Battle Trance off, he can't do anything.
Yeah.
He literally can't even run away, so it's going to be a hard game for Burna. And Robo-Z on this mid Pango, even Pango against Razor can be a bit wonky. Once you see the Swashbuckle committed, you can just go static link and get even more out of the lane. So we'll have to see how the back and forth works out. Overall, TOOBASED are looking really good. Unknown Team with the Enigma offlane could take away some EXP from the Jug, take away some farm from the Jug early on. But it doesn't feel like that's going to do enough work to dissuade TOOBASED from running their own game here.
See how this goes. I think we could probably both agree that Razor last pick from Simply TOOBASED does make it so their draft does look significantly better. It's going to be a very tough game for Burna, and so was last game. Maybe this game could be arguably a little bit easier on the troll, but into the Razor, it's kind of disgusting. Of course, even Robo-Z on the Pango, like, you can swashbuckle away from the static link, but even just losing 20-30 base damage with the static link through the laning phase is going to be pretty annoying for Robo-Z. I Annihilate should have a very free kind of mid lane here on that Razor. Do you agree, John? Do you think that Simply TOOBASED have the stronger draft, or do you think Unknown Team, do they have a good chance with their own draft? What do you think?
I prefer TOOBASED. It's a lot easier to run this lineup. They've got stable push for the Beastmaster, although Unknown Team also has the Enigma for their own push, as you've pointed out, but I think the timings you get with Enigma are a lot tighter, mainly because Beastmaster with Roar is a lot easier to commit compared to an Enigma Black Hole. So you're getting more utility from the offlane matchups there. And you already have the counterplay for the Enigma BKB, as you mentioned. You're going to need a Lincolns on top as well. It's just a hard game for Unknown to pull that off. If they can pull it off, the Troll should scale better. So if Berna actually gets off to a running start, say a 10-minute Battle Fury here at best, then you can really start to escalate over the Jug a lot quicker, especially depending on how Boris builds, whether or not he goes the Maelstrom start, if he goes the Mask of Madness start with phase boots. Really depends on what we're looking for here on Boris. That's going to dictate how active he'll be on the map, and that's really what's going to tie up two-base timings here.
Just FYI, John, I don't want to get your ego up or anything, but I've just noticed while we're in the pause that someone on Twitter apparently agrees with your analysis of the anime so far. Shout out to Rupture on Twitter, but that's 2 people wrong in my books, John. I'm not liking what I'm seeing.
Just leave us be, Mike. We are refined people with refined anime tastes, okay? All right?
But you have to
I like my K on.
John.
I want to. I just need to see it appeal. I don't know. The art style just throws me off. I don't know. If you get me going, Mike, I'm not gonna stop.
But
So
you
I'm
act
just gonna
like
stop
you're the
myself.
one who invested the money into the anime. That's the thing. You act like you're losing something.
But no, we don't lose anything. At best, it will still attract new players, which is always nice. I don't know. I don't know what to say, Mike.
Will you
I
admit
don't know
live on
anymore.
stream in the future, once you've watched a couple episodes, if you like it, will you admit you're wrong?
Yeah, sure. I want to be wrong. I don't
Okay.
want to be right in this one, Mike. I want it to be great. You know?
Thank you.
I
for
want
that,
more
John.
anime to watch, of course.
Looking forward
Bit
to
of a
me.
segue. I can
look-
segue here.
What are you going to segue to, John? Go on.
I just wanted to point out. So for those who don't know, Flea's Guild, and if you open up his portrait view, Flea's Guild is Baboy, and it's tagged as Romantic Baboy. That's a restaurant in the Philippines that does serve. I believe for some reason they serve Korean grilled barbecue, like samgyeopsal. Yeah, so it's all about the pork there, and just like seeing that. Of course, Flea, I believe, is half Filipino or Filipino raised in America. So there you go, Mike. You've got a Filipino caster here. You've got technically a Filipino-American player there. We're taking over, Mike. You can't just leave us in Southeast Asia. We're here as well.
Well done, John. You made me hungry as well. I haven't ate today, and you're talking about Korean barbecue now. It's very upsetting
Oh, yes.
stuff. I love Korean barbecue.
It is great. We did have that chat yesterday as well, off stream, where we talked about Jollibee, and you found one in Sydney. Are you
did.
planning to drop by soon?
I am actually. I was talking to my wife about
excellent.
it, and I showed her what Jollibee looks like, and she's very excited now. In fact, she's been annoying me ever since to take her to Jollibee now in Sydney, and it's an hour and a half drive for me, so it's not going to be very fun. This better be the best chicken I've ever tasted, John. Otherwise, I'm going to maybe make a trip to the Philippines just to have a chat with you about it.
Trust me, it's worth it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun when you get there. For sure, you'll see the Filipinos lining up, 100%. So you'll have more of me around. I don't know how you'll feel about that, but it is what it is, Mike.
Lines being drawn out here from Simply 2 based, unknown. They are hanging around the top side of the rune as well. Into the Roshan pit, trying to be very sneaky. So they can at least try and sneak one away. A nice little ball being placed here by Monkeys to make sure they can scout this out, and maybe he can get a deny off. Arrow, though, is going to fly through. Bounty still on the deck. Flea is going to back off. His team is not going to make it in there in time to capitalize on the arrow. It's going to be about enough. 2 based. Might continue to begin with a tri-lane to try and get the first blood going. Empyrean? No, he's going to TP. He's not going to bother.
Yeah, still a solid lane to have here up top for 2 base. Of course, you've got the boar spam coming through from Monkeys Forever to hold that lane off, but Burna can just play ranged if he wants. They will just secure the range creep as well, just Flea doing Mirana things, and we'll see how much Burna and Shesed can get this time around. Monkeys did go for a bit of a greedier start. He started with Belt of Strength, and he does only have 1 shared tango, so until his set of tangos come in, he could be vulnerable. but that does mean it's harder to zone him out. And you can see what Chesed wants to do, right? Every time the Boris up, he just goes up for the Frostbite, take away that presence, and get a bit of gold for himself. That's one way to kind of counteract the Beastmaster early on.
Well, I like that confidence from Monkeys Forever, right? Because he trusts Flea enough to know that Flea is going to make sure that Burner, and Chesed can't get close enough to the Beastmaster to really abuse the fact that he's gone this greedier build. As you can see, Flea is doing a pretty nice job of just harassing out Chesed and Burner every time they do come close to the Monkeys Forever. So for now, that build of strength is going to pay off. Looking over to the mid lane, Robo-Z up against I Annihilate. Again, he does have an escape route through the static link, but it is still going to be kind of a nuisance in this laning phase, especially as the levels do go up. And as I say that, up at top lane, Monkeys Forever does indeed end up going down. Chesed the one to pick up the first blood, and I've cursed another player, John.
You have to be cautious about that level 2 spike on CM. He gets the slow off with the Nova, really easy follow-up with the Frostbite. And Burner does have some good damage as well, so there's some downtime here for the Mirana. When you see her commit the arrow, you know there's not going to be counterplay. So you have to be a bit cautious about how far forward Monkeys is, but that does give him a reset. He's back in lane with 2 Tangos and a Sage's Mask, so he can sustain that spam. Back at mid, the matchup we were just talking about, I Annihilate against Robo-Z. As you mentioned, Robo-Z has a way to swash out. And the one thing here for the Razor is it's not as easy to get a good static link. Not just because it breaks, but the downtime of static link is a lot longer than the downtime of Swashbuckle. So it's easier for Robo-Z to just spam Swash, clear out the creep wave, get his farm, and not worry about too much. I Annihilate's going to have to play with his Plasma Field, which is costly in mana for the Razor.
Bot lane, Empyrean ends up dying there to Sacred. They almost kill off the Nyx Assassin. Melodic still has 1 tick, but it's not going to be enough. And he did avoid the 3rd tick by just using that Spike Carapace. So nice pick up there from the side of Unknown, their 2nd kill of the game. And while we're here down at this bot lane, it does seem like Sacred is having a very nice time, John. 11-9 in terms of CS. Really denying out Boris quite a bit and keeping him a lot lower than the Troll. Speaking of the Troll though, Burner almost kills off Monkeys Forever. Flea will hold them back. But I do like what the Enigma's doing. Just keeping the Jug down, making him farm as slow as possible. This will give Burner the slight edge going into the mid game.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want with the Enigma offlane pick. So far, so good here for Unknown. Really steady start, going 2-0. So they're having a great time just kind of controlling each lane and slowing down that initial farm. If Boris doesn't get to build into his, say, phase roots, as it looks like he's going for, his pacing slow down, his laning presence gets shot up as well. So we'll have to see if he can recover. We are hitting that 4-minute mark for the power runes. Flea and Chesed are in place to kind of contest, but Chesed could fall.
Chesed does die. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Robo-Z and Wish trying to race towards the bottom bounty rune, or excuse me, power rune, but Flea does manage to take it up at top. I Annihilate. The worst he really took there was a bit of harassment out from Robo-Z. Nothing too bad. Still top of the CS board on this Razor. Having a great old time. Even Chesed now coming in mid to fill up the bottle of Robo-Z, but just trying to harass out the Razor a bit more. But I really don't think I Annihilate cares too much.
No, he is pretty tanky to go on. He's already finding his farm. Robo-Z is just not getting as much, and that did hurt him. At the least, with Chesed dying, of course, he could get in for the bottle refill, although down bot.
Oh, spins on Sacred with the Melodic. It's going to be a hell of a lot of damage, and I think Sacred's just guaranteed to die here. He might go down to the Melodic, but Boris will take the kill away. Meanwhile, Empyrean still being chased down by Wish. Does have the mana drain. Will be able to take out the Witch Doctor. He just got the level up to be able to do that. Meanwhile, towards the Roshan pit, Flea trying to chase down Chesed again. Doesn't have any leap charges, but he is a lot faster than the Crystal Maiden. Frostbite, but Flea's just going to walk him down. What a sad way to die.
It's the life of the CM. You know, you're a bit slow without Windlace or boots. You're just kind of stuck in that situation. So far, TOOBASED have evened out the lanes, 3-3 now, less than 1k lead going their way. That kill coming out for Boris is really important as well, and because the CM's dead, they can start to apply more pressure top Monkeys Forever. already at level 5, so the boars are a bit tankier. They can do a lot more damage as well if you're not careful, and you're not seeing the counterplay come out anymore. It's just way too hard for Shesed to close that gap. And 280 move speed.
Sacred.
It's just tough.
Here we go again. Sacred was left alone. They know the Nyx is not here, and with the Melodic spin, it's a nice, easy pickup for Boris.
Empyrean?
Empyrean's just trapped. Boris is trying to help him, but he just can't. Up at top lane, though, they do at least get Monkeys Forever. Shesed the one to pick that one up on the Crystal Maiden. So it is a bit of a trade on the off lane. And as well as that, they do also get the Witch Doctor. So all things being said and done, not too bad for Unknown. Oh, Boris!
No.
He was still fighting the Eidolons.
Yeah, he was still stuck and couldn't clear them out fast enough. Just stuck in that tree line. Wish just comes in with a stun and finds that kill. So unfortunate for TOOBASED. Unknown starting to drag some of that control back. Really even start. Right, 4-6, less than 1k lead now, bouncing towards Unknown. They are committing the TPs down bot. Looks like we might see the lane swap here as they drag Empyrean and Fleet to prevent that push. So they just want to secure the bot lane, prevent the Enigma from getting that early shove. There is that early Necronomicon up, so you do worry about trading these objectives early on as you're not quite ready for it in the Beastmaster yet. Monkeys having a slower start than the Enigma, still waiting for the gold to buy out his own Necronomicon, although it should be flying out soon.
Roar up on Monkeys. Gonna hold on to it for now. Would commit it on Shesed if he wants an easy kill. I'm sure they'd rather get Burner. Boris is here with the Omni as well, so if they could get the Roar off on the Troll, he's basically just dead. But instead, Boris will just run down Shesed. Monkeys Forever takes the kill with the Boar. And would someone get this Crystal Maiden some more movement speed? My god, this hero has suffered so much, John. In terms of movement speed, it's getting ridiculous now.
Yeah, apparently the Wolves and Ice Rack aren't very fast if she's as swift as them. Still, she does have brown boots when she comes in, so it's not going to be as bad. They are sort of trying to go for the tier 1 trades now. Sacred still keeping that shove down bot, whereas up top they're starting to commit with that level 1 Necronomicon, so it should be an even 1-to-1. There is a black hole ready on Sacred, but no mana. Still, Flea is low.
Oh, Moonlight, is it going to be enough? No, the one Eidolon hit. That did make it in time onto Flea. Unfortunate stuff for the Mirana, but a great pickup there for the Enigma. And of course, Sacred now going to start pushing in that bottom tier 1 tower. The top tier 1 did already go down to Boris, so he's just trying to trade. I believe simply TOOBASED will allow this to happen, but Empyrean, what's he up to?
Huh.
Trying to sneak up from behind them, gets the Melodict onto Shesed, but he may just die here. The units are going to kill him off. Now the Black Hole committed, I Annihilate, he tried to rotate. Oh, everything just gone wrong.
That's really awkward out from TOOBASED. Maybe they thought Sacred still didn't have mana? I mean, he has this infused raindrops, so he's regenning true. Should have expected that to come out. Now up top could be a mess as well.
The Roar is out. They have caught the Troll, but the creeps are there, so they can't Omni him down. And now the Battle Trance will be able to get out in time. Wish is around with the stun. He is going to land it as well. They did not want to commit the Omni. They do still finally get the Troll, so it is a bit even. And Monkey should be able to get another. It looks like it's almost guaranteed, as Wish has no mana to use. So I think Boris wasn't quite expecting to die there on the Jug.
They didn't have vision to watch that rotation from the Nyx, so really good catch out from Unknown. Still not too happy about losing your Troll there. We are seeing a similar build-up here from Boris and Berna. I believe both sides are going for early Maelstrom starts, so it's not going to be the full farm game. They do find a nice kill, though.
Yeah, Sacred does die. I Annihilate with the Static Link, able to take him out. They almost kill off the CM as well. Chesed realizing he can't run, so he just needs to TP. This time it does work out for him. He makes it.
Yeah, and you do have that slight lead up from Unknown, but Boris, I mean, he's got the early Javelin. I think he really just wants to get a good use out of that first Omni. Still hunting, and Berna is back up top.
Doesn't have Battle Trance either. Very slow with that one hit from the boar. Gonna go into the tree line. They don't necessarily want to dive him underneath that tier 2 either, as the bonus armor will be making it just a little bit more challenging to kill off the Troll. It's like Unknown are going to be there to just overtake their jungle, and eventually that will mean that Burner can continue to freely farm in that jungle, and well, for now he's doing much better than Boris. So things are good for Unknown. Monkeys. See Shesed. Wish is around to help. Arrow. Oh, it's going to land perfectly. Very nice arrow there from Fleet. That'll be a dominating spree now for Monkeys forever. They might go for more. Wish. Oh, mid lane. Boris. Getting caught out by the Nyx Assassin again. RoboZ going to try and turn around now with the Rolling Thunder, but the Static Link is still doing too much damage. He will barely roll out. But he dies to the Melodict anyway.
Yeah, it's a tough back and forth. You're happy about taking the jug, and this is a really bad game for Boris so far, dragging behind even RoboZ's farm. 800 gold behind Burna. It's more in the EXP, but this difference is huge. Boris is still about to hit 8, Burna just hit 10. So your jug is just not set to face off against that EXP deficit. They do at least take that mid-tier 1, so that opens up the jungle invasion here for TOOBASED, and they can start to contest these stacks and contest the farm that is coming out onto Burna. Unknown now, it's still really even. Like, neither side's really winning out too much. There's just more map control here for TOOBASED, but that can make all the difference if you're not careful, and Unknown will have to start warding their own jungle to keep those cores safe while they still farm up.
Blink up on Sacred, Black Hole there. They want to try and make a play with it. Into the mid lane they go. Just barely missing out onto Annihilate. Burner maybe just trying to bait a little bit, but does eventually back. They have found Empyrean, so they're going to accept the Witch Doctor death, and now Annihilate does jump in. Sacred waiting for the right moment. Does go in, but he's been stunned up. And now the Roar comes out. They're going to lose the Enigma. He blinked right into the arrow. Oh, it's so unfortunate for Unknown. Now Shesed's going to die as well. Shesed, he's going to try and run. They do get a nice impale off, but Flea is going to continue the chase, landing the arrow onto Wish. Spike Carapace will make it so Annihilate does get stunned up. And it looks like they do successfully manage to get everyone else out. But that's a very unfortunate blink reveal from our Enigma.
Yeah, that's not good news for Unknown. Now TOOBASED is aware that the blink's up. They didn't manage to get the Black Hole. They can try again. If you still find a smoke angle, it could be big. But TOOBASED now building up their lead. 2k up. A lot of that is riding on Annihilate and Monkeys. Boris is starting to catch up a bit with his own Maelstrom. And again, both cores are going for the same build-up. SNY lined up here for Boris. SNY lined up for Burna. They want to hit these item spikes and then try to force the advantage. This does mean that we are taking out items as a variable between these two cores, so we will see how they do face off against each other evenly farmed. Unknown, because of this blink on Sacred, they need to use it. Like, even after that failed attempt, I think you start eyeing maybe a one-man Black Hole just to make sure you kind of compensate for that.
Orc. I don't believe that scouted out Wish, even though they had the sentry. Pings do now come out, though. They do scout him out. Mid lane, Sacred. Smoke pops on Boris, but they don't realize it was the Jug. So they'll keep going up north. But Simply TOOBASED should be very well aware that they are coming with a smoke. And they still have that Black Hole. There's your Moonlight Shadow out now. They're looking at Wish. Instead now, they make the jump in onto Shesed. Roar there, onto the Pango. He's not going to be stunned up for long, but he's taking a lot of damage. And now the Yules is there, but the Black Hole does jump in from Sacred with the Battle Trance. It's a lot of damage. Annihilate, however, is not dead yet. He'll take down the Pango with him, or rather Sacred on the Enigma. RoboZ was rolling around. So a 2-for-2 trade. Annihilate going to keep going. He does still have the double damage rune, but he gets just taken out. They have gone a bit too far. Now the ensnare is there. Boris does at least get RoboZ, but now he's in danger. He'll be forced to spin TP away. But ultimately, a pretty damn good team fight for Unknown.
Yeah, they win that one out 4-2. The black hole was not the ideal. It's a level 1 black hole, so the damage isn't great. But it still got the control there. TOOBASED couldn't find a follow-up. I think the Roar came out mid-swashbuckle, so they couldn't immediately kill off RoboZ, and that was the big issue. They needed that Pango dead before anything else could happen, and didn't quite line up. Still, they've got not too much to lose. They still are keeping the game even. 14-16, and Boris is starting to build up as well, so you're not too upset, but Boris has to be careful. Every single time he's roaming around, Wish seems to have his number, makes it a lot harder to play, although, nah, they just yields him up, but not going to commit. They still control that top jungle, though, which is preventing too much of a smooth farm up for Burna, and Burna is just actually opting for a BKB, so shifting out of the SNY, it's going to lack some damage, but he will have a lot of frontline durability with that up.
Top tier 2 tower gonna be sieged down by simply TOOBASED. The mid tier 1 gonna be trying traded here by Unknown. Should be able to secure this, but Flea is trying to delay it as much as he can on the Mirana. Now Annihilate shows up. And that might just be enough for them to be forced back, but the arrow does land onto Wish, and that'll mean a dead Nyx. Of course, Monkeys Forever was freely able to secure the top tier 2 along with his Jug. So things are quite back and forth in this game number 2. It does seem as though simply TOOBASED are managing to control the map regardless of how far behind Boris is on the Jug.
Yeah, they're still able to keep that farm game up and slow down the pace of Unknown. It's going so well that Flea does have his Ags up. So you've got that additional Star Storm coming through with the arrow, which can be potent. And they are clearing out the Roche quite fast. They have Sustain with the Healing Ward coming through. They've got Summons to deal with it. Unknown don't quite have the angle, and I don't think they're keen to take bigger fights without Black Hole just yet.
Tyrion looking to close the gap there on Chesed. Doesn't quite catch out the CM. Boris going to take the Aegis. First Roshan of the game. This bot lane being pushed in very heavily. Annihilate, he'll be around to make sure that gets taken care of. Meanwhile, Burna, with this BKB timing, might call for a smoke. Seems like a better time than ever to go. And Black Hole did just come off cooldown. Definitely not too bad of an idea. But now it looks like he's going to just chill out and wait it out a bit. But I think that smoke should be coming any moment now. Unless they're just going to run in for the team fight. But they are under a Hawk right now. They'll know about it. He'll juke out the arrow, but there's your cast from Empyrean into the Maledict. Boris running in. Does have the Omni, but won't commit it yet. Deathward will get a bit of damage in. And Burna just safely back out as now Chesed going to be in danger. Monkeys gets in with the Roar now. Freezing Field is there, but Chesed is going to get taken down. And there's an arrow onto RoboZ. Still Annihilate dropping low. Black Hole is there. They've caught out 2, but it is going to be cancelled, but it won't matter. Burna able to clean up, but so is Boris. He'll keep going onto the Enigma now. Still Burna is able to take down Empyrean, but they will lose the Enigma as a trade, and now Annihilate and Boris. They won't keep fighting as they don't have the Omni. Problem is, Boris is going to lose his Aegis here. Burna, he thought about sticking around. They'll leave it at that. A 4-for-4 trade, a buyback on their Maiden. And that's about it. It looks like the Golden XP change did end up favoring simply TOOBASED.
Yeah, and that was massive for Boris. He was at level 12, level 13 before that fight, like 2 levels behind the Troll. Now he's at 15, which is still 2 levels behind our Troll, but a significantly better spot. So at the least you're sort of recovering on Boris. This is where it's hurting for the Jug. Like, there's way too much EXP on Burna in comparison to Boris. You're lagging behind. You want to hit 18 fast, to have your max level Omni Slash. You want to be able to farm up freely, and it's been much more contested for the Jug. You can see Burna is #1 in net worth. The issue is that initial BKB use did not land him the kills.
Underneath the Sentry Ward, which is going to find him out on the Beastmaster, and he doesn't have much help around. He'll commit the Roar onto Chesed with the Necro Creeps trying to burst him down, but they will protect the Crystal Maiden this time. Still such an even game. Just less than 1k net worth lead now for Simply TOOBASED. Anyone can take this one. Looks like TP's into the mid lane. They want to hold on to that tier 1 tower as Widge going to be slowed up by the plasma field. Arrow does connect as well. That'll be a Nyx dead, but they also found a Pyrian on the Witch Doctor. In fact, Boris, he hasn't killed off the Nyx yet. He's going to die to the freezing field. Burner with the double now. Robo Z going to get the Yules off on the Mirana and flee. He's going to have to flee. Looks like he will be alright with the leaps. But Boris on the Jug. I thought he had the damage to kill off the Nyx Assassin, but he couldn't even get that.
Yeah, that is not good for the side of TOOBASED. 2k lead up now for Unknown. You can see how fast they chip away at towers as well once they lay onto it. The Troll is just a lot better at actually getting the damage off on objectives. And Burna now is pretty much at the point where he could just finish up this Sanjin Yasha and be a menace up at front. So Unknown finding this timing. And as this game drags on, this is going to be an issue for TOOBASED. The Jug is so constrained by his timer and Omni Slash. Even the Ags kind of relieving some pressure isn't enough, and
Who they found? It's going to be Wish. Fair enough, they get the Nyx. I Annihilate trying to chase down Robo Z, but can't cancel the TP. Yules was on cooldown. So Simply TOOBASED back into the bottom tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, Unknown will hang around the top side of the map. In fact, never mind. A TP down bot. Burner might feel strong enough to keep fighting here with this new SNY up. The rest of his team are making their way over. They have Black Hole up again. Robo Z not popping the Rolling Thunder quite yet, but they do get the Yules up onto that Beastmaster. So Monkeys forever, just kind of locked in place. And he's set to die as Robo Z is trying to look for a bit more. He's going to roll into Fleet, but his team is not there to back him up, so that'll be about it.
Yeah, it's getting tricky here for TOOBASED. You've got some big items out on Unknown. The BKB's up on Sacred, so he only really has to worry about the Roar, and every single time we've seen Monkeys have to commit that Roar in someone else. They tend to try and burst down RoboZ first, but every single time they do, the Roar comes out mid-swashbuckle. It's never ideal. He gets to reposition himself. You need to hold down that hero a lot faster, and they might get scouted out here.
Oh, Spike Carapace doesn't actually pop onto Annihilate. Empyrean still going to use the Death Ward and get some damage out. That's going to be about it. Meanwhile, Burner just took care of the mid-tier 2 tower on the Troll. And it's time to move on to greater things. They go up towards that top lane. Boris did push out the top lane quite a bit on the Jug, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough to dissuade them from at least taking the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's really simple for Burna to lay on. No backdoor protection as well for that, so very easy objective to find. You're getting to the point where the Troll is just looking so much scarier than the Jug. Queuing up the Abyssal now on Burna. Once you've got that additional control, you're not going to be safe even if you try to spin out. And the options are shrinking here for TOOBASED. They need to just play pickoffs. They need to try and punish Unknown for splitting up, but they never really have the angles to. And Unknown, and they're getting big. This is the point where Enigma Black Hole is just super scary without BKB. The Troll is super scary. RoboZ is doing a lot of work with his Yules Blink combinations as well. So TOOBASED have to reel it in. They need to ensure Monkey saves the Roar for the big targets. Maybe try to burst down the Enigma first now. If you don't, then the Black Hole is just going to have a good time and you have nothing to cancel it out. So we'll see if they can line it up. So far, Unknown. They've been maximizing this presence quite well. Look at Wish. He's all over the map. There are only so many sentries you can drop, and he's been setting them up for his team quite nice.
Oh, he found Flea, but he's not going to get the Impale off. Flea still dusted up on the high ground, and he's just going to TP away. Not bad at all for the Mirana. At what stage do you think TOOBASED can actually confidently fight back?
Ooh, it's a while. I think you want Boris at 18 at minimum. So you have to wait for this level 18 to come out, which is coming out soon, and there it is. So max level Omni helps the cause a bit. You want this Scotty to be up as well on the Jug, just to ensure that the Troll won't regen as much through Battle Trance. You have to be really careful about all these spells, though, and TOOBASED just, they can't quite do it, but they need to find pickoffs. Like, you can't force the big 5v5. You just lose to Freezing Field, to Black Hole BKB, and the Jug just doesn't get to focus his damage onto one hero. It spreads out too much. So, ideally, you'd make a smoke play, but they just don't have too much forward vision, and they're running to just farm the jungle while they can.
I Annihilate. Double damage rune spotted. Wish gonna spot the Razor. You can see he has the DD rune bottled. Which is Courier also gonna go down. Still Burner, just gonna go straight high ground in the mid lane. A lot of damage so darn quick from this troll. There's your static click now to try and force him back a little bit. And the Roshan is up, so Unknown, they don't have to really force this without an Aegis. They could just try and go for the Roshan. And having an Enigma with Black Hole up is going to make it a lot harder for Simply TOOBASED to try and counter that Roshan play if they go for it.
Yeah, they've got to be super cautious fighting in such an enclosed spot. Unknown can just easily take control if they wanted to. Should be able to scout it out soon as well. And Burner should just be able to melt. He already has the Basher up. Abyssal lined up next. The troll is just becoming a very big issue. You are itemizing the correct way here for I Annihilate. He's trying to go for the Heaven's Halberd. There's just not enough arm to make that come out fast enough. You want it right now, so you can force something big against that troll. And it's simply taking too long. In fact, he changes his mind. He just goes for the AC next. Just wanting to sustain through the physical damage, which can work. But it's a long way to go, and that Rosh is already gone.
Easy for Burner has the Aegis and Cheese, but he'll give the Cheese away to RoboZ. Sharing is caring. Unknown back into the mid lane. I still think the Simply TOOBASED guys are the ones that have to defend. Wish. Oh, they're gonna find Flea. A nice impel, not waiting for the strike of the Vendetta. Frostbite there, and they get the follow-up stun from RoboZ. They can at least try to force a buyback now from Flea.
Empyrean?
Another one caught out. I heard a Death Ward as well, but obviously it's not going to lead to much. Simply TOOBASED are doing a very good job of just kind of creep skipping here in this mid lane though. Monkeys Forever hasn't allowed any creep waves to go by. So they can't actually go high ground at the moment.
Nope.
RoboZ does spot him. He'd love to get a Yules off. Can he get vision for it though? No, he can't.
Ooh.
Just a hair off.
Okay, so this is pretty darn good from TOOBASED, stalling out that high ground push. They should avoid fights with Boris.
Oh, Boris, no.
Yeah.
You can't confidently farm there without vision when this is how the map looks, I don't think.
No.
It is desperate times for Boris for sure. But that was a very risky spot to try and farm in.
Yeah,
Chesed.
it's way too optimistic.
At least they have caught out the CM. I Annihilate gonna pop the BKB for this. The Ghost Scepter won't be able to help, and that is a gem. So they get even more value out of that Crystal Maiden kill. But now RoboZ is going to try and go ahead and get it back. He gets the Yules off into the Rolling Thunder, but there's a roar out onto Wish with the Death Ward. They'll blow up the Nyx Assassin. Death Ward's still going, in fact. It's a full channel, but they still kill off I Annihilate. The gem will go to Sacred now.
Yeah, and that's still better for Unknown. They find the mid laner, they find the safe laner for their two supports. That still opens up the high ground for them if they want to go. There's no buyback here on I Annihilate. And they're just strong. Abyssal's already up in Burna. They can just look to find even more pickoffs if you're not careful. They want to hunt down monkeys, but is a bit slippery with that blink, so not going to get that done. Still, it's tough for TOOBASED. It's only 7k behind. It's not the end of the world in terms of how far apart the net worth is.
Oh, Sacred found him.
It's just that it's not lining up.
He found him, John. Who wins the battle of the offlane? Sacred, he needs some help. RoboZ's going to come in, and that should do it. Still units going to be spawned up. Sacred might actually die to these. He's trying. Monkeys, they'll use up the Necro unit. It'll be fine. They'll kill it off and Sacred will be able to get a reset.
It's very close, and you're still happy about finding this Beastmaster. It took a little bit longer, but you're finding all the gold. There's a Lotus Orb up now on Robo-Z, so it's even harder to commit Roar onto the Pangolier. You have to watch for that Reflect now. It's going to cause issues here for Monkeys Forever if he's not aware. They are trying to hold back and wait for that AC on Annihilate, and it is fairly close, still a ways off. They actually go for the Blink on Boris instead as well. I don't know about that. Like, he probably could have just saved up for the Abyssal, but he's got the Blink now. Maybe he can get himself into the back line and find a couple of kills this way.
Tier 3 tower getting quite low. The drop. Oh, they found the Spike Carapace onto the Razor. Annihilate. Gonna get blown up. Now Robo-Z right into the back lines looking for Empyrean. Death Ward there with the Omni though. They have caught out the Pango, but he eats the cheese in time. And now Boris, he might be out of position, but it's a lot of damage out. Black Hole is in though. Sacred has caught both, and they will burst down the Jug immediately. A great Black Hole from the Enigma. Monkeys does at least secure the Enigma kill, but this is going to be at the cost of his own life perhaps. Yule's out from Robo-Z. He's almost certainly just dead. Trying to body block with the Necro units. Arrow does land. Flea might be able to turn this along with Annihilate, but now the Battle Trance will come in. They found the Razor. Empyrean's trying to run. He's got no way out. He's going to die. And Monkeys Forever is still not out of the woods, John, as Robo-Z will be able to secure the kill. That's 4 down. Empyrean will commit his buyback, but that's about all they have. An Unknown looking like they're about to take this game number 2.
Yeah,
it's a nice Spike Carapace. Burner, he couldn't close the gap in time that time around. But straight down to the bot racks, no wasting time. They want the Megas.
Yeah, it's you have nothing to worry about now if you're Burner. You've got the Satanic up, you can pop that on if you do get caught out. Respawns are still a bit slow, and it can't really stop you. It's just 2 supports. They're not a threat at all.
Oh, nice Impale out, Swashbuckle in. They've killed off Empyrean. That'll be a dieback on the Witch Doctor. There's only 1 Raindrax left, and that's back in the mid lane. So Burner will go ahead and take care of it. In fact, never mind, 2 Raindraxes left. 1 more.
Yeah, it's just gone though. Like they can't hold. They do have the Jug, no Omni Slash. This is where it's super awkward. You're tied into this timing, and Boris can even find that solo kill on the Pangolier Wilder. So I'm not sure what target he can really go for outside the CM.
Tier 4 towers now under siege. This is looking like a very, very tough defense, but simply TOOBASED, they may as well give it 1 more crack. Boris gonna spin in. Burner might just try and man fight, but Static Link is out from the Razor. Just walk away from this. Roar is there though, Monkeys with the follow-up, and now the Rolling Thunder in from Robo-Z. Burner, he'll go for the Battle Trance straight onto Annihilate, but the Yule's going to save his life. Instead, they'll take down Monkeys Forever on the Beastmaster, and now it's onto the Jug. But Boris is going to survive for now while he turns back around, but the Black Hole, Sacred again finding the Jug, and that'll be it. They call GG mid-Black Hole. It's Unknown. A great game too. And a great series overall, I might add, John, between these 2 teams. Swish has the last word.
Yeah, it's a great performance from Unknown. They do manage to get their draft going. The Jug against Troll just not shaping up for the Jug. They couldn't play around with that early start, with the early sustain. They found some objectives early on, but couldn't capitalize. And all their movements just didn't amount to much. Big issue there for TOOBASED. Unknown do manage to drag out to a draw. That does mean they stay in the running for the top 4, and TOOBASED, they're not out of it yet, but I think that does mean they need to actually win at least one of their next series. So we'll see if that's the case for them. That is Unknown Team's last game, so they're just kind of waiting for the results, which leaves them in a very awkward spot. as you know they're kind of tied in for that last few slots, and that does mean Nina has a lot of work to do on the admin end. So, hats off to you, Nina. You have to sort through all those points now.
Our poor guy. Nevertheless, John, moving on to our final series of the night, it is going to be the Devils in Arkosh Gaming up against Infamous. Should be a very interesting match to finish us off tonight, John. And well, with that, of course, we are going to be back after a 15-minute break for that series. It's MLP John xfire. We'll see you as soon as the first game draft does begin.